You have to reverse the car in order to go in reverse. I love my life. Oh man. It's so much fun being crazy and not playing victim about it or ruining anybody's life. You know? It's so awesome. You know? You don't know. You wish you knew, but you don't know. Unless you're in that small group of people, that teeny tiny, itsy bitsy, eeny meeny group of people in society that understands themselves and has so much fun living their life, as traumatizing as it might be, being in this shitty shit world. It's like, how did you describe it, Lauren? A buffet. It is a buffet of self-love. Well, you know, it was like a smorgasborde of self-hate for a long, long time. Okay? My left arm will prove to you how much self-loathing I possess. Hold on, I'll show it to you. Didn't bother cutting my right arm, because the right is usually not the problem. It's usually the left. Hold on one second, I'll show you. See that? Look at all my scars. So cool. I wish that white people would just do that now, rather than constantly apologizing for things that they had no involvement in. You know? It's like, here's a razor blade, just get it over with. You know? It's like listening to white people bitch about themselves, to themselves, for themselves, and they want to pat themselves on the back for doing this as if that makes them a better person. It's like they might as well be having some sort of like self-mutilation contest, you know? It's just so depressing to be around those types of people. Luckily, those types have really weeded themselves out of the comedy scene because they're too liberal to come back. I'm really surprised that the Marxist I was telling you about, I'm really surprised that he has come back at all. But that's only because he took his little vaccine. A lot of people are avoiding anyone that has taken that. I refuse to do that. That's exactly what they want. I mean, I don't have a smartphone, so I really don't have to worry about all that shit. You know, the shedding, you know, I don't have to worry about that because it involves the phones. It involves the radiation and the frequencies or whatever the fuck. I don't remember, like I read something about that, but it's like I had my suspicions and then I read something about it and I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one that is paranoid enough to connect these dots. But anyway, yeah, I'm just not too worried about it. I mean, I haven't had any of that. Like, I haven't really experienced much of that. I think if I have on any level, it's been psychological. So I tell myself, oh, I'm having a headache, and it's all because I'm hanging out with this person that, you know, voluntarily did this to themselves, and I don't understand it. And it's like, a lot of this stuff is very psychological. You know, it's like when you tell yourself that you're sick, and then you start developing symptoms of that sickness. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I saw that happening with this virus initially last year when this whole, like, pandemic started. I've been a hypochondriac for so long, and I finally got over it. right when everybody else in society was turning into a hypochondriac. I'm always on the opposite end of the spectrum of society. But anyway, yeah, I mean, my manager took that shot, and he's taken both of them. I know he seems fine, but like, how long is that going to last? I mean, I prayed for him. I prayed for everybody. I'm not just going to stop associating with people all because, you know, they do something I don't agree with. But, and like I said, you wouldn't have anything to worry about if you didn't have a smartphone. But I realize that you're a crackhead in the vortex, and what would you do without that phone? You know, since you're utterly convinced that you need it for every motherfucking thing. You know, like honestly, the more that I think about the phone situation, the more it just pisses me off. Especially with these pretend conservatives, all they do is whine online. That's all they do, and they think they're going to change the world that way. It's just so retarded. It's like, how can they not see that this is a huge part of the problem? How can they not see? Like, I don't even like being on YouTube, you guys. I hate YouTube so much. It's so terrible. But what's cool about it is there are like genuine content creators such as yours truly, and, you know, my friend Hot Retarded Chicks, and, you know, Zachary K. Hubbard, my favorite coink eating specialist, and, you know, that word who's been with me since the beginning. I mean, that word, he's been doing this shit since the start of YouTube back in 2005, you know, and that's really impressive. A lot of people told me to do YouTube back then, but, you know, I wasn't interested. It wasn't until Donald Trump got elected that I was like, okay, it's time. That mental illness epidemic that I was predicting has officially arrived. And, you know, it's just been really interesting. It's been a wild ride. Now, I'm hoping that YouTube doesn't delete all my shit, because it seems like it's going that way where they don't want any genuine content creators. But, you know, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't been deleted already. But that's also because, you know, I'm not a typical YouTuber. I mean, I really appreciate actual vloggers. You know, like, that's what I do. And so, people that are expecting, you know, some, you know, like, really entertaining. I mean, I think that what I do is entertaining. I think just watching people be themselves, I mean, that's personally what I would find entertaining. I mean, why would I create something that I wouldn't want to watch? You know, I love watching myself. It's so great. Like, oh my God, I'm the greatest thing on YouTube. I really am. The greatest thing on the internet, period, point blank. It's unfortunate that a lot of people can't see that shit. But, you know, it's okay. They can't handle me. They can't handle me. I'm too much for them. I'm too intense. I'm too right. And not just on the right, but I'm too right about stuff, you know? And I hold their feet to the fire because that's where their feet belong. And so, you know, naturally, holy shit, there's a limo parked on the side of the road. That's weird. Like a limo would just be broken down on the side of the road. Maybe they're going to sleep. Maybe the limo driver needs to take a nap. You ever think about that? You ever think about the limo drivers and how hard their lives are? Amy, why don't you stop being so selfish and think about yourself only, okay? It's hard out here for a limo driver. Anyway. I was saying something so important, I know I was, right? Yeah, but I mean, just being a person in this world that just is so destined to just kill itself. It's so, I mean, spiritually. So if you wonder why people are literally killing themselves, why people are literally volunteering to do things that aren't logical, or, you know, they could possibly be detrimental to their physical and mental and emotional health, You know, it's because everything that surrounds them is just so fake. Everything that they do is just so artificial, you know? Well, I'm like the exact opposite of that. So when people say, well, you're the most like authentic comedian, it's like, it's because of that. It's because I refuse to give in to this. I don't want to sacrifice my internalization power by tweeting. You know, I can't tell you how many times I have wanted to say things to people and I don't. I type something and then I backspace, and then I just get off that page. And you know, as much as I might want to say something right then and there, I feel so much better. Like just 10 minutes later, I feel so much better. I feel like this singe of relief for not saying anything. You know, and I just think about that. Like people just sacrifice so much by giving themselves away, and they have no idea like how much better they can have it if they could just exude a little bit more emotional maturity and impulse control. But they can't do it because they're crackheads, like I said. And even the smartest people on the internet, even the smartest people that are really great political commentators that I love very, very much, it's like they act a fool on Twitter. They act 5 fools on Twitter, man. It's just sad, really.